Hello friends, in today's session we will discuss the topic of how to find the argument of any complex number. So depending on the nature of the real and imaginary part of the complex number, we'll see that where will it lie on the xy plane and what will be the argument of it. So let's say we are starting with a complex number z. So let's say we are starting with a complex number z equal to a plus ib. So we can see that this a will be the real part of z and this b will be the imaginary part of z. And on the xy plane, it will lie somewhere. This is the real part and this is the imaginary part. So it may lie on the x-axis, it may lie on the first quadrant, it may lie on the y-axis, positive one, it may lie on the second quadrant, it may lie on the negative x-axis, it may lie on the third quadrant, it may lie on the negative y-axis, or it may lie on the fourth quadrant. So we'll see all the cases here and we'll see how to find the argument in this case. So starting from the first one, this is where for z equal to a plus ib, both a and b are greater than 0. So if both the a and b are greater than 0, then it will be somewhere on first quadrant. So let's say this is our z. In this case, this is the argument we will get. And this can be found by simply theta equal to tan inverse of b by a. And we can see that it lies on quadrant 1. For example, let's say we have z equal to 2 plus 3i. So in that case, the argument z will become tan inverse of 3 by 2. Now, we'll see one more part of it, and that is z equal to a plus ib with a greater than 0 and b equal to 0. For this case, we can see that the z will lie on the positive real axis, that is the x-axis. Well, in that case, we can clearly see that theta will be equal to 0, and this is the argument of z. So it lies on positive real, that is x-axis in this case. For example, let's say z equal to 5. So this is basically 5 plus 0i. Let's see the third part now. The third part is where we will have z equal to a plus ib with a equal to 0 and b greater than 0. So this is on the xy plane, the real part is 0, whereas the imaginary part is greater than 0. So this will be on the imaginary axis. And we can see in that case we'll have theta equal to pi by 2. So we have got theta equal to pi by 2, and this is the argument of z. Also, it lies on the positive imaginary, in this case it is y axis. For example, let's say it is z equal to 2i. So this is actually 0 plus 2i. Now, the fourth case is when it will lie on the second quadrant. For z equal to a plus ib with a less than 0 and b greater than 0. So in that case, we can see that with imaginary part being greater than 0 and real part being less than 0, this should lie somewhere in the second quadrant. Well, in this case, we can see that theta will be this one. And this theta, that is argument z, will be given by pi plus tan inverse of b by a. And this will lie in the interval of pi by 2 to pi. For example, let's say z is equal to minus 2 plus I. So you can see that real part is negative and imaginary part is positive. In that case, theta becomes pi plus tan inverse of 1 over minus 2, and this becomes pi minus tan inverse of 1 over 2. As we know that tan inverse of minus theta is minus of tan inverse of theta. So we can see that this will lie in the interval of pi by 2 to pi. The next case is the fifth one. This is where the real part will be less than 0 and imaginary part will be 0. Well, in that case, it should lie on the negative real axis. And we can clearly see that the argument is going to be pi in this case. So, argument z is pi, which is equal to theta. For example, and it lies on negative real axis or x axis in this case. For example, z equal to minus 5. So this is minus 5 plus 0i. The next case is for the third quadrant, and in that case for z equal to a plus ib, we can see that both a and b will be less than 0. And on the xy plane, it will lie somewhere on the third quadrant. Now we can see in this case the theta starting from 0, it comes up to the third quadrant. So you can clearly see that the theta will lie between the interval of pi to 3 pi by 2. So argument z or theta is also given as pi plus tan inverse of b by a in this case, and it lies in quadrant 3. The theta will be in the interval of pi to 3 pi by 2. For example, let's say z equal to -1 minus I. So argument z becomes pi plus tan inverse of -1 over -1, and this is pi plus pi by 4 equal to 3 pi by equal to 5 pi by 4. So we can see that this lies in the third quadrant. Moving to the next one, that is seventh, for z equal to a plus ib, where a will be equal to 0 and b will be less than 0. So on the xy plane, we can see that with a equal to 0, it should lie on the y-axis, and with b less than 0, it should be on the negative imaginary axis. And we can see that the argument is going to be 3 pi by 2 in this case. Argument z equal to theta will be 3 pi by 2, and also it lies on negative imaginary, or we can say y-axis in this case. For example, let's say z equal to -4i. Now the next case is for the fourth quadrant, that is z equal to a plus ib, with a being greater than 0 and b being less than 0. So we can see that this z will now lie on the fourth quadrant. And now the theta is going to be between 3 pi by 2 to 2 pi. So argument z, that is theta, in this case is given as tan inverse of b over a plus 2 pi, and it lies in quadrant 4. For example, let's say it is 1 minus I, then theta will become 2 pi plus tan inverse of -1 over 1, and this is 2 pi minus tan inverse of 1, which is 2 pi minus pi by 4, and that is 7 pi by 4. So we can see that it will be lying in the fourth quadrant. So these are all the cases possible like on which quadrant or on which axis the z will lie, and as per that we can find all the possible arguments in this case depending on the nature of the real and imaginary part of the z. So that is all about how to find or how to calculate the argument of a complex number. Thank you.